Jungkook finally speaks. The hidden feelings he's been keeping are revealed. In a world consumed by spotlight and perfection, where every step is captured, every word dissected, and every breath analyzed, there lives a young man. A symbol of resilience, passion, and vulnerability. His name, Jungkook. To millions, he is the golden magne of BTS. A prodigy. A legend in the making. But that night, he wasn't a superstar. He wasn't an idol. He wasn't the global phenomenon everyone knows. He was just a human being. With eyes that have seen too much, and a heart that had been silent for far too long. And the first words he said were, "I'm tired, but I never wanted you to know." Behind that smile, Jungkook's smile. So radiant. So comforting. A source of light for countless fans who depend on his presence to get through life's darkest days. But behind that smile, lies a storm of emotions, invisible to most. From a very young age, Jungkook carried the weight of dreams, not just his own, but those of a nation, a fandom, a group. As the youngest member of BTS, the expectations were crushing. He had to excel. He had to shine. He had to be more than just good, he had to be perfect. While other teenagers experienced high school crushes, spontaneous trips, lazy weekends, Jungkook was dancing until his legs gave out. Recording until his voice cracked. And even when the cameras were off, the pressure never left. In a quiet Weverse Live, Jungkook sat alone in a dimly lit room, his voice barely above a whisper. "I often feel lonely, even when surrounded by people." That line pierced through the hearts of armies. Not because it was poetic, but because it was raw. Honest. It reminded everyone that even the brightest stars can feel like they're fading in the darkness. The fear behind the Golden Magne title. Golden Magne, a title given with love. A title born from awe. But to Jungkook, it was both an honor and a silent burden. It meant that every move had to be flawless. Every note had to hit. Every dance step had to be sharp. He had to sing, rap, dance, compose, produce, smile. And when he stumbled, even slightly, it felt as though the entire world magnified that imperfection. He confessed, "There were times I felt like I had to be perfect in everything. And when I wasn't, I thought I failed." That isn't just pressure. That's emotional imprisonment. Imagine the fear of not being enough, when you're already giving everything you have. Even during vacations, his mind was restless. Do they still love me? Am I still doing well enough? Did I let my members down? And in the quiet of night, those questions haunted him. Because somewhere deep down, Jungkook believed he wasn't allowed to be tired. Or scared. Or broken. Because he was the Golden Magne. And golden things are not supposed to break. Enlistment, silence, and the fear of being forgotten. The most heartbreaking moment came when Jungkook opened up about his thoughts before entering the military. With tears in his voice, he said, "Before I left, I cried alone. Not because I was scared, but because I was afraid I would be forgotten." For Jungkook, ARMY isn't just a fan base. It's home. It's the force that kept him grounded when everything else around him felt like it was spinning out of control. Leaving that connection, even temporarily, felt like tearing a part of his soul away. He knew military service was his duty. But emotionally, spiritually, it felt like abandonment. "If one day I come back, and you're no longer waiting, I will understand. But it will hurt. Deeply." He wasn't just talking about popularity. He was talking about belonging. About purpose. About a boy who turned into a man in front of the world, and now feared that, in his absence, that world would move on without him. Guilt, distance, and the changing dynamic with BTS members. He then spoke about the evolution of BTS. The 7 boys who once shared dorms, dreams, and dinner tables, had grown into 7 men walking their own paths. "We're still close," Jungkook said. "But I miss the days when we were just together. No cameras. Just us." There was a bittersweet honesty in his voice. A longing. A kind of guilt. When one member was struggling, Jungkook felt helpless if he couldn't be there. He said he sometimes questioned whether he'd done enough for them, whether he had said, "I'm proud of you" enough times. We've all changed, and that's okay. But part of me fears that we're slowly drifting apart. He looked into the camera, eyes moist with unshed tears. "I hope we can return to the stage as one. But I know, time doesn't move backwards." His deepest gratitude to ARMY. Yet, in the midst of all this vulnerability, the most powerful part of his message was about love. About the unshakable bond he shares with ARMY. His voice trembled as he said, "You are the only reason I never gave up." He described nights of self-doubt, of suffocating anxiety. And how, in those moments, it was the smallest comments that pulled him back from the edge. "We love you, Jungkook. Don't be too hard on yourself." Simple words. But to him, they were lifelines. "I can't promise to be perfect," he admitted. "But I promise to always be honest. I will return. Stronger. And I want you to be there when I do." A global response of love. When the live ended, the internet erupted. Twitter trends were flooded with love. Hashtag "We love you Jungkook." Hashtag "Your voice saved us." Hashtag "We will wait for you." Fan projects bloomed like flowers in spring. Mural walls, tribute videos, and open letters filled every corner of the digital world. Why? Because Jungkook's truth resonated with millions. Not because he was perfect, but because he was real. He showed us that even stars can cry. Even idols can break. And love doesn't fade when perfection disappears. A final message to ARMY. Dear ARMY, this wasn't just a live stream. It was a revelation. A mirror held up to our own hearts. A reminder that the people we admire are human, too. Jungkook spoke up, not out of weakness, but from incredible courage. Because it takes strength to show your scars. Now, it's our turn to speak. Through our loyalty. Through our unwavering presence. Through the quiet promise, we'll be here when you return. So when that day comes, when the lights rise again, and Jungkook steps back onto that stage with a smile not of pressure but of peace, he'll look into the crowd and hear a million hearts beating as one. And maybe, just maybe, he'll whisper, "I'm back, ARMY. Thank you for not leaving."